ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another round. This is Mr. Doolin. I thank you for tuning in. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at formula mass. Now, formula mass is not anything complicated. Formula mass is, let's go ahead and write it, the mass of 1 mole of a substance. And so at this point, you should understand the mole is really just a number of particles that we're talking about here. And so if I had that number, right, the 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, Avogadro's number, if I had that many particles of any particular substance, that would be the formula mass of that particular substance, all right? Now, before I get too crazy, so hopefully you put formula mass, that's how I'm normally going to abbreviate formula mass, is FM. You put down formula mass there, because formula mass, it gets confusing only because we call it a lot of different things, or a couple of different things anyways. We can also call it formula weight. We can also call it molar mass. And then we can also call it the molecular weight. And so all I'm doing with these, ladies and gentlemen, is again, the definition of formula weight is the mass of 1 mole of substance. The definition of molar mass, the mass of 1 mole of a substance. The definition of molecular weight, 1 mole, mass of 1 mole of a substance. So they're all the same thing. We just call them 4 different things, all right? So let's go ahead and define and put this in context for something that'll make sense to us. If I'm taking sulfuric acid, so sulfuric acid, which is a ternary acid, it's H2SO4. What's the formula mass of sulfuric acid? Well, I look at the subscripts first, right? So my subscripts down here, I technically have 3 of them. We never write 1, but it's understood. And so the subscripts represent molar ratios, or the number of moles of an atom present in that compound. And so you definitely need to understand that the subscripts represent those molar ratios. They are telling me the number of moles of an atom that is present in a compound. So again, subscripts represent molar ratios. They are telling me the number of moles of an atom present in a compound. So in this particular case, for sulfuric acid, I actually have 2 moles of hydrogen. I've got 1 mole of sulfur, and then I also have 4 moles of oxygen. And again, just based on the subscripts here, that's where I'm getting that information. So now, how do I figure out the formula mass? Because it's the mass of 1 mole of substance. So the whole thing, all of them added together. And so I look up at the atomic mass, right? The atomic mass of hydrogen is 1.008. Since I have 2 of them, I'm going to multiply that by 2, you got it, and that's going to give me 2.016, and that's grams per mole, all right? And then for sulfur, I've got times, let's see, 32.066 is the formula mass there, and that's times 1, so that's an easy one, 32.066 grams per mole. And then for oxygen, I've got 4 moles of oxygen, so that's 15.999. And again, these are atomic masses, ladies and gentlemen. These numbers here I'm actually getting off of the periodic table if you look at the number, the atomic mass underneath the abbreviation of each element. So this would be times 4, and that would equal to 63.996. Again, units on this are grams per mole. So all I'm going to do at the end of this is I'm going to add these values up. So I'm going to add them up, and they add up to 98.078 grams per mole. And so what we would say is that if I had a mole of sulfuric acid, it would weigh 98.078 grams. And so we would say the formula mass is equal to 98.078. All right? So, again, just to reiterate exactly what we mean by this, 1 mole of H2SO4 is equal to 98.078 grams per mole, right? And so again, you're seeing this equality and you're like, oh man, we're going to be doing dimensional analysis pretty soon. Well, you are correct, right? Now, generally speaking, 1 mole is equal to the formula mass of a substance as long as the formula mass is in grams. All right? Okay. So again, nothing crazy, ladies and gentlemen. For steps, if you want to get these written down, we multiply the atomic masses by the number of moles present, right? That's based on the subscripts. And then we just add all of those values together, right? So multiply atomic masses by the number of moles present, which is the subscripts, and then we just add them all together, and that's how we get formula mass, okay? All right, so nothing crazy, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, hopefully you got them down. I'll see you in tutorials for those. Other than that, I'll see you in class.